that one bullshit PlayStation trophy.
The more than 12 Labors trophy in Immortals Fenyx Rising is absolutely fucking bullshit. And if I could sum it up in a short clip from the game, then I think this next one does it pretty fucking well. So the more than 12 Labors trophy requires you to complete all 36 tasks from Hermes' heroic task board if you want to unlock this silver trophy, and these are found in the Hall of Gods area on the map, which is basically your sort of hub bit where all the gods will go after you've rescued them. So you'll find this notice board in this circular room, and when you go up to it you'll see a bunch of tasks. On the right are live ones which you don't actually need to do, they change day to day, and on the left are the heroic ones which you need to do for the trophy. These are all the side content and activities that you can do out in the open world. And you remember how in Assassin's Creed, when you got to a high point, you could synchronise your view, and that would then mark all of these activities on the map for you to go and do? Well, in this game, you can synchronise a viewpoint. However, that just unfogs the map, allowing you to see that area. Now, in order to find the actual activities and mark them on the map, you need to enter your sight view, which is your first person view, and then you need to move the cursor around to try and find any points of interest on the map that will glow, and press R2 to reveal it. That is the only way you can see the activities.
What the fuck?
Yep, what an absolute ball ache. They completely dropped the ball here. It's just an absolute bullshitter for the player to have to do it manually. It's just bullshit. Seriously, I can't begin to express how mind-numbingly frustrating this game mechanic is. Having to manually look around at a high point to try and find points of interest yourself is just so fucking frustrating. And you'll be wiggling that stick around and you'll swear that you've hovered over a location, only to find that after you go back there a couple of seconds later, your controller starts to vibrate and the visual clue indicates that there's something there. That seemed to happen all the time with me, and it was really inconsistent to try and actually nail down where fucking things were. It's just needlessly stupid. It's just a way of padding out the game and making it last a bit longer, and I swear it'll just make you long for the old days of Assassin's Creed when all you had to do was climb up the highest point in that area, synchronise your viewpoint, and then get all of the points of interest just automatically updated on your map. It's such a better way of doing it, and at the very least it'll just make you hate the game and want to just throw Fenyx off the nearest cliff just to end it all, so she no longer has to do this shite. But, like any good trophy hunter, you'll persevere despite the bullshit because you want to get those trophies to ultimately unlock the platinum. And so, after spending ages looking around the environment, you may finally find something there of interest as the controller starts to vibrate and the screen glows, only for it to then reveal another fucking chest. That's Ubisoft fucking you over yet again. I can't tell you how many times I've finally found something in the environment only for it to come up as a fucking chest and not one of the challenges that I was missing. And if it wasn't a fucking chest that was appearing, it'd be one of those arena vault things, or maybe a fucking ambrosia, which I don't fucking need anymore because I've already upgraded the fucking health. This is just something that just gets worse the further into the game you get, with the more of the challenges that you find and complete, because when you're down to your last 5 or so and you have no idea where they are within this, quite frankly, quite huge world, it's an absolute ball ache to try and find them all. Now, In a small show of mercy from Ubisoft, you can toggle on and off what you can see on the map, and thankfully you can also still view anything that you've completed, as it will show up with a green tick, and you can turn these on or off. So there's a bit of small mercy there, in that you can use a map online and compare it to what you've already uncovered to find the ones you're missing, and that's probably the best advice I can give. Don't bother trying to find them manually, just use a fucking guide to mop up the last few. So that's about how you find the challenges, but what about the challenges themselves? Well, they're broken up into several different categories. There's ones for just exploring the environment, there's ones for combat, as well as the collectibles and things like that. And some of them involve actual doing these like challenges, these little side activities, and these range from good ones like the Hermes shoe, which are usually like a race to a certain point, which they aren't too bad, they're quite short. Sometimes you'll find that the actual challenge is locked off, so you might have to solve a little puzzle before the race, but on the whole, these are okay and they're quite short. The next set of challenges that you'll do involve the use of your bow and arrow, and you have to fire off an arrow and then control it, kind of like you could control Xena's frisbee in the Xena game on the PS1. Thankfully, you don't have to use any 6-axis or anything like that, you can just use the D-pad, and it usually just involves you going through rings to then light a furnace somewhere. They are good. We then have the next set of challenges, which are the fresco challenges, and these are like those little tile slider puzzles. Yet these ones are a bit shit because it's always 4 blocks that you have to slide, so the picture may change, but the puzzle itself is fundamentally the same all the time. Your starting positions of the blocks may be different, but you can still solve it the same way you would solve the very first one and your very last one. Sometimes, again, with some of these, you'll have to do another puzzle in order to unlock the puzzle that you've actually gone to, which can get really fucking frustrating when you're on your, like, 50th challenge and you've still got to do this bullshit just to get to the bit that you actually want to do. Like here, we have to turn all these lasers on to get to this switch so we can shoot it with the arrow, to then go through this next laser bit to get rid of this red door. We then have to shoot another arrow at another switch to go past some more lasers in order to get to this other switch, which then opens up the tile slider puzzle for me to do. And before that, I had to fight enemies in this area, and it's just like, oh my god, it's just bloated. That's one of the problems I have with these challenges as well. It's just bloated. There's just a lot of shit just for the sake of it. It's not just a simple go here, do this little thing, and then move on. You'll end up spending ages doing these shitty things over and over again, and after a while, it really starts to grate. Another challenge that outstayed its welcome for me was the Constellation Myth challenges, as these were just, oh my god, they were just so fucking long-winded. Now, I've put this next bit of video on ×8 speed, so you can just see a rough idea of how long each one of these single puzzles takes. It's just an absolute slog, and for this challenge thing, you have to do every single variant of these throughout the game world, and there's quite a lot of each of these sets of challenges, and after doing a few, you kind of see what they are, and you're just doing the same sort of puzzles over and over again. So with these, you have to get these blue orbs and put them on this little tray in the same positions as marked on this diagram, but you have to then solve like 5 separate puzzles in order to get each of these blue orbs, and they just go on, and they just really outstay their welcome. And another one that just really pissed me off was the actual vaults that you have to go into. Now usually these are just these little glowing red things that are out in the open, and you can just jump down straight into them, and they take you into these worlds, these little underground worlds that usually have like a big puzzle for you to solve. Sometimes though, you might have to solve a puzzle in order to get to the entrance to it, or you might have to fight some enemies, and it just becomes a ball ache just having to do all of this shitty, like, I don't know what you would say, just this lack of fun, really. It's just this monotonous work to get to where you want to be and to get this little collectible ticked off. And when you go into these vaults, these will do like a puzzle, but it's like you do the puzzle, and then you'll go to the next room of this section, and then you'll do the same sort of puzzle again, but with like one slight variation to get out of this next room, to then go into the other room and do the puzzle again, and it just becomes an absolute slog, and I fucking hated them. And there was this one for clearing out the Tartarus vaults and getting every chest within them, and you had to do like 22 of those, and that blocked up that whole path of challenges. And once I completed that one, I then found that I'd already done all the others for that group, so I just unlocked them all one after the other. And sure, there are more challenges than what I've mentioned here, but these are the ones that I just thought were the most bullshit of the actual challenges, never mind actually finding them and getting to them. These were the ones that I just hated after a while. Sure, they were fun at first, but when you're on your like 70th one and they don't really change that much, and there's too many puzzles in the fucking game for my liking as it is, because everything's like you have to do 3 of it. It's never just like 1 and you're done. Okay, that was pretty cool, let's move on. No, it's like, oh, now I'll do it again, but we'd have this slight variation, and then do it again after that, and then maybe again after that, and it just becomes a real slog. And it's a shame, because this game is great, but this trophy and these puzzles and challenges just really killed the fun for me. It just became work, and that's one of the worst things I could say about it. And it just really did zap a lot of the fun out of this game, because it's great exploring the world and the combat, and when you're platforming and climbing around, that is great. But doing these challenges, constantly stopping and starting, doing 3 puzzles in one puzzle, it just became monotonous and just really frustrating. And the fact that you can't mark all the things on the map automatically, and you have to find them all yourself, and then when you get down to the last few, it just really, really, really makes it a bullshit trophy. Oh, and there are also these musical lyre challenges where you have to find this like harp thing and recreate music that you'd find on smaller harps throughout the environment. And trying to remember these is a task in itself, so just go online and look on YouTube for the solutions, because any time that you can save with these challenges is definitely worth it, because it's just an absolute slog. And for that reason, the More Than 12 Labors trophy gets a bullshit trophy rating of...
Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Bullshit. You sell it's all bullshit.
Oh shit.
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 Shit. Shit.